I think we will start now if Kathleen wants to turn off the music. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so today's topic is on student-centered versus teacher-centered. I want to just add that whenever I typed centered, I always struggled because I'm Canadian and officially we follow the British rules. So it's the R-E-C-E-N-T-R-E. But a lot of times we still use the American. So I know when I was writing the lesson plan, I think I used both because I kept switching back and forth between the two. But yeah, today we're going to look at student-centered versus teacher-centered. So the objectives for today are that participants will be able to categorize activities as student-centered or teacher-centered and explain which type of lesson is better for student learning. So a couple of community guidelines. We are obviously happy to have you here. Please make an effort to arrive on time. If you are late, that's okay though, and please just join in as you can. I understand people do have IT problems, so if you have any IT problems and have to leave and come back, that's all right. When you are not talking, please mute yourself, especially if you have any background noise. But remember to unmute yourself when you get asked a question. Speak loudly when you are talking so that everyone can hear you. And also please complete the pre-class interactive self-paced slides. If you have not already completed them, you can find them on the Facebook page or in the Google Classroom, and I sent a link in the email as well. So there's lots of places to find them. I will also be sending out a post-assessment feedback form, so please fill that in as well. So this will help us revise and develop the course for next week, because this course is offered every Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Myanmar time. If you have any questions or technical issues during the session, please email at info.hett@gmail.com. So I will quickly introduce myself. My name is Lisa Vance, and I will be kind of leading this class or this training. I previously was in Myanmar and I was doing some teacher training. I've taught English before, I've taught environmental education, and I've also worked in Thailand, and yeah, I've done a lot in education. Our co-host is Kathleen. So Kathleen, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Kathleen. I'm a Spanish teacher in the United States, but I've also taught English here in the US, in Mexico, and online.
Awesome. Okay. How well do you understand student-centered learning? So we're going to use a show of hands. So like this means you do not understand it at all. A little bit more, somewhat. You understand it quite well, and you understand it extremely well. So not at all, extremely well. So on the count of 3, please show me with your fingers. So 1, 2, 3. How well do you understand student-centered learning? Oh, some people I can't see. I think their cameras are off. Okay, some 3s, some 2s. Okay, awesome. Okay, what is the best lesson you have taught and why? So can someone answer that for me? What was the best lesson you taught and why? If no one answers, I might have to call on someone. How about Theta Lynn? What is the best lesson you have taught and why? Theta Lynn, are you there? How about Da Mathy Ooh? What is the best lesson you have taught and why? Okay, can't see, they don't have video on either. How about Pre-Moon? What is the best? Okay, she'll start the video later. Pre-Moon, what is the best lesson you have taught and why?
Yes, to be honest, in my classroom, I teach a lot of grammar lesson. I teach a lot of grammar lesson, but so our students need to answer some types of grammar lessons. It's about some types of grammar lesson in their exam. So it's about 1/3 of the whole questions, English question, 1/3 of the whole English question. I think because grammar pattern, remembering grammar patterns, have to write an essay and tackle reading passages. So I think so.
Okay. Okay, let's look here. What is teacher-centered learning? Can anyone tell me what teacher-centered learning is?
In teacher-centered learning, I think students are in passive type.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I think it's good to relate it to, because we talked last week about passive learning, and I think it's really good to relate teacher-centered learning to passive learning. I think that's good. Yeah, and if you have connection problems, that's okay. Just kind of join in as you can. I know a few people have said they're having connection problems. Okay. So teacher-centered learning happens when the teacher is the center of attention. They have all the knowledge, and it is their job to share that knowledge with the students. The students simply receive the information. So it is very similar to when we were talking about passive learning. So both of them kind of involve, I would say passive learning is a type of like teacher-centered learning.
Yes, teacher.
Or they're kind of similar ideas. What are some advantages of teacher-centered learning, though? Can anyone think of any advantages of it?
And teacher can manage the time very well.
Yes.
Teacher can manage the class time very well.
Good, I agree. Because it's just the teacher, it's easier to manage the time because it's just a teacher talking or showing something. Any other advantages? Let's look. So it might be simpler classroom management because maybe you just have everyone sitting in rows and not moving around, not talking. So it might be easier to manage a classroom in that way. The teachers know exactly what will happen and kind of how long it will take because they are the only ones talking and sharing information. Teachers create quality information for the students. So the teacher kind of has lots of information and lots of knowledge that they can share with the students. What are some disadvantages of teacher-centered learning? Some disadvantages.
The student can become lazy.
Yeah, maybe they're just like listening and they're like, oh.
Yes, I agree with Lemokin. Yes, students may be bored and teacher-centered learning, and there's no group work or discussion.
Yes, definitely. So students are not as engaged as mentioned. You mentioned group work. So yes, students do not have the opportunity to collaborate or work together. And students don't really develop communication or critical thinking skills. This is especially if you're teaching English or teaching a language, if the students don't have the time or the ability to practice, that can kind of be bad because they aren't able to use the language. But even other subjects, when they can talk about it and share ideas, it improves their critical thinking skills. Okay, what is student-centered learning?
Students can actively participate in this, and this.
Yeah.
They can develop critical thinking.
Good, yeah. So yeah, the student is more actively participating. They're using critical thinking skills. I'll flip it. So in student-centered learning, the students are active. So last week we talked about active learning. So again, you could relate student-centered learning to active learning. Very similar kind of ideas and concepts. They contribute to the class content and create knowledge with the teacher. So it's not just the teacher to the student, but it's together. The teacher acts like a guide or a coach who encourages the students to learn more, or kind of like a facilitator instead of just like a teacher telling them information. Okay, what are some advantages of student-centered learning?
Students can do themselves, and so they can memorize them more.
Good, yeah, so they're kind of doing it themselves, so then they can remember more. Good, anyone else? So I have students are more engaged. So if you get students talking, if you get them working in groups, if you have them stand up and move around, it can be hard if you have big classes, but even in big classes, maybe you have two people sitting next to each other and they can work together. Smaller classes, you can actually get them physically standing up and moving around, and then they're more engaged in the class. And if they're moving around, it's harder for them to look at their phones, to be on their computer or whatever else. Yeah, and students work together, so collaborative learning or cooperative learning, group work, like they would at a job. Many jobs involve working together and being able to do group work. So it kind of gives them an idea of what it might be like at a job. It also helps them develop communication skills because they have to talk to each other, and critical thinking skills because they're questioning, they're trying to figure things out themselves and not just listening. They actually have to kind of use their brain. What are some disadvantages of student-centered learning? Does anyone know any disadvantages?
It needs time management and classroom management.
Good, yeah. So it needs time management and because you don't always know how long it will take students to do an activity. I think a lot of times timing, giving them a certain amount of time and telling them in advance how long they have can be a good idea, even if they don't finish, but at least they're thinking about the concept. I read in one book, even if you have a lot to get through, sometimes giving them 3 minutes, like just 3 minutes, to discuss about a topic before you go to the next section can help with critical thinking skills. And classroom management, yeah, like people might get very loud if they're talking. I remember someone telling me once though, that if you're in a classroom and the students are talking, do not think of it as a bad thing, but just make sure that they're talking about the topic of the class. So it is good if the students are talking, but make sure they are talking about the topic that you're discussing in class and not their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their friends, that type of thing. Yeah, so classroom can seem loud and unorganized, so that relates to the classroom management. Teachers must be flexible and adapt lessons as they teach. If you're just standing at the front and talking, you know what you're going to say. If you have to adjust to what the students need, it takes a little bit more work. And maybe students need to learn slightly different things, or they're focusing on different things. Another thing that comes up a lot is that you can't always cover as much information if it is student-centered. Because if you're talking, you can talk about more information. So it's kind of more critical thinking skills, but maybe less information. Okay, so this is an image to kind of show you the difference. So we have knowledge, we have experience. It goes to the teacher, so the teacher has knowledge, experience, and then the teacher gives it to the students. So is that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Teacher-centered.
Yeah, so that's teacher-centered. So that's kind of the traditional model of a classroom. It's very teacher-centered. Okay, and this one we have the teacher, but you know, there's some information going this way, but then there's also some going this way. There's also some going this way, and then you have a group here. So you have collaborating, you have students collaborating, you have some working individually, information is going both ways. Is that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Student-centered.
Yeah. Okay, where'd my arrow go? I just lost my arrow at the bottom of the page. Just 1 second. Oh, there we go. I see why. I have to turn off the annotation. Okay, which approach do you think is better, teacher-centered or student-centered?
I think student-centered is better, but if I have a large class, it is really difficult for me to control and student-centered because one of my class, there are altogether 57 students. There are only 2 students are female students, and the later 55 are male students. So I found it really difficult to control them. Yes, thank you, teacher.
I do understand that it is difficult with large classes. Yeah, like one of the things that I did come across for universities for very large classes, like I said, is you don't have to do it all kind of active learning. You don't have to do it all student-centered, but maybe you just choose like 3 minutes to do an activity or 3 minutes to do a very short discussion, and have them choose a partner.
Yes.
So you're keeping it short so it doesn't get as disorganized, but then to try and still add a little bit of activities or a little bit of discussion into the class, but just keep it very short.
Yes.
But yeah, I do understand that it's difficult. So students learn better when they are seen not as empty pots to be filled, but as persons with their own knowledge, experience, and beliefs. Student-centered learning is better because it helps students to grow as people, not to just do well on a test. So remember that especially a lot of you are from TUs, technological universities. The students want to learn so that they have the knowledge and skills for their job. And this is something I heard from the students at the TUs sometimes, is that I had some of them tell me that they felt what they learned in class didn't match what was required for the job. So they wanted more hands-on skills or more discussion and to relate better to what they would actually be doing on the job, instead of just listening to knowledge. Obviously, you have to learn theories and you have to understand theories, but some discussion and collaborative learning can work well with that. Okay, so let's look at the first activity. You will see a class activity on your screen. I would like you to use the voting feature to answer the question. So there's the yes button, the check mark, or the no, which is under participants. So is this activity student-centered or teacher-centered? So yes for student-centered, no for teacher-centered. Okay, so students demonstrate their public speaking skills by researching and presenting on a topic of their choice. Is that yes for student-centered or no for teacher-centered?
Student-centered.
Oh, sorry, I should mute you. I'm gonna mute you. Just show with your voting. So I have 3 people who have answered so far. We'll give you 30 more seconds to answer. So it's under participants. There's a yes button or a no button. Okay, good. So if you want to give the vote, so if you hit along your bar, if you hit participants, I believe there's yes, no, go slower, go faster,
I see.
up, down. Yeah, so hit yes if it's student-centered and no if it is teacher-centered. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. So everyone said yes, student-centered. So excellent job. It is student-centered. So clear your answers. It says clear all. Next one. Students are encouraged to choose a point of view on a controversial topic. They debate the topic with classmates. So yes for student-centered, no for teacher-centered. Okay, good. I have yes. Everyone put yes for teacher or for student-centered. Excellent job. Okay, next one. Students listen and take notes on what the teacher says. The teacher answers all of their questions at the end of class. So yes for student-centered, no for teacher-centered. 30 more seconds. Okay, so everyone put no, so teacher-centered, correct. Next one. In science class, students form a hypothesis. Then they design and conduct an experiment to see if they were correct. So yes for student-centered, no for teacher-centered. Okay, yes, good, excellent job. After giving a lecture, the teacher asks students questions to make sure they understood what was said. Okay, so no, teacher-centered. Okay, good. Okay, so in groups, you will create a role play. You act out a teacher-centered or a student-centered class. So I will put you into two groups. I think, so there's 10, 9, 8. Yeah, I'll put you into two groups. Have one person be the teacher and one person be, and have everyone else be the students. And I will come to your group and I will tell you to make your role play either teacher-centered or student-centered. Or actually, I'm going to change that. Make two role plays, two very short role plays between 1 and 2 minutes long. Make one role play that is teacher-centered and make one role play that is student-centered. So you're making two role plays, and then everyone has to guess which is which. Does anyone, what is a role play? Does anyone know what a role play is? I can't hear. I don't know if you're muted. I see a few people nodding. Can someone tell me what it is? Yeah.
Acting like a class in a classroom.
Yes. Yeah. So it's acting in a classroom. So you're pretending to be an actor and you're coming up with a script. After you come up with, so you have 10 minutes. Yeah, let's say, 10 minutes to come up with your role play. So you're coming up with two role plays, student-centered one, teacher-centered one, and then you're going to share them with the group. So just 1 to 2 minutes. If you have any questions or technical difficulties, you can email us. But first, me and Kathleen are going to do an example. So we're going to do two role plays, very short role plays, and I would like you to tell me if you think it is teacher-centered or student-centered. Okay, so let's start off. Hello and welcome to class.
Hello, teacher.
Today we are learning about addition. Please write down the following.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 1 plus 3 equals 4. 1 plus 4 equals 5. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That is all for today. Please do section 4 in your textbook for homework. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Fine.
Is that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Teacher center.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, next one. Hello and welcome to class. How are you today?
Hello. I'm
Hello.
good.
Yeah, we
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Today we are going to be learning about addition. How many markers am I holding up?
One,
One.
Good. And if I add another marker, how many am I holding up now?
2,
Good. Excellent. So if we were to write that as an equation, how would we write that?
uh,
1
One.
plus 2 equal. 1 plus 1 equal
1
2.
plus 1 equal 2.
Good. So 1 plus 1
1
equals
equal
2. Excellent job. And how many do we have now?
1,
1 car.
Good. And if we add 2, how many do we have?
3,
3 markers.
So how would we write that as an equation?
1 plus
1
2,
plus
1 plus 2 equal 3.
Good. 1 plus 2
2,
2
equals
equal
3.
3.
Excellent job. Okay, very good job. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
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 Is that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Please, student
student
center.
center.
Okay, good. So you're going to make two role plays in your groups, and you have 10 minutes to do so. So one person can be the teacher for one role play and then switch teachers, and the other people in your group can be the students. And you can practice and decide what you're going to say. And then afterwards, you will share it with the group. So just to check, how many role plays are you making?
2 role plays.
And how long should the role plays be?
10 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You have 10 minutes to practice, to
No,
make
no.
practice, but just make it like 1 minute.
1 minute is
Role
enough.
play. Yeah, just very short.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in 2 groups now.
Yes.
Pyo Yi Su, are you going to join your group? Oh, that person's part of 2 groups. Hopefully they're okay. Oh, I can't hear you, Kathleen.
I think they're on the list twice.
Yeah, they were on the, yeah, so then there was extra people in that group, but there's only 2 people in that room. Hopefully they're okay. I might go check on them if you
Okay.
want to share your screen.
I will do that.
screen share and screen share ပြီးတော့စာပေမှာရိုက်ရမှန်းမသိတော့
Hello, are you okay with only 2 people?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah, it just, there was one person that had 2 accounts, so I thought there was more people, but
Okay.
so you're okay?
Yes, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's like a help button. So if you do have issues, just try and tell me or send me an email. Thank you.
I'm using my phone and I cannot use my computer. Very
Yeah.
poor connections.
Okay, me too. Now I'm from
Now the-
America, so I have hardly access to get internet connections.
Yes.
Teacher, yes. Yes. So I will start my teaching.
Yes.
Yes. Today I will teach about
Kathleen, I think you're muted.
Can you not hear my sound?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay. I'll
Let me
try it again then.
It might be in the settings because I know I have to make it so that, oh, there we go. Now it works.
Okay, good. Thanks for telling me that. I can hear it on my end, so.
you choose one topic, what you want to present, what you want to present, a topic that what you want to present, and then you choose and then you.
Now
Okay.
I'm performing both. The first role play is I perform as a teacher center, and the second role play is I perform as a student center. Yeah. So now it is your turn.
Yes, my turn. I think student centers is very important for in our class.
No, no, this is not the way teacher. Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, it's a role play. You're acting. So
Yeah.
you're pretending to be the teacher, and one person's pretending to be the student.
Yes. Now I'm student.
And just so you know, I'm going to say that you guys are group number 2. So when I call on group number 2, you are group number 2. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, mother. We are
Yes.
group
Yes.
number 2. We are
Yes.
group.
Hello.
Hi.
Um, just so you know, I'm going to make you guys group 1. So when I call on group 1, you guys are group 1. Okay? Hello? Okay. So let's look at the role plays. Group 1. Can group 1 do a role play? So who is going to be the teacher and who are going to be the students? And can you act out one of your role plays? Make sure to unmute yourself.
I am a student.
Yes. I'll be act like the teacher.
Okay.
Okay, where? I have no text. Okay. Mm. Hello, everyone. I want to teach about words from words in English. Sorry, I cannot write in here. So I'll teach you. From the word pineapple, how many other words can we get? Let's say pine and apple, and then pine pine, and then apple apple, and then
Okay, all
p and
together
pen,
9 1.
and then pan pen, and then peel peel. We can get 5 words, and this memorize it. And can we get another words, please?
Who's the student? Can you give another word?
Yes, PIN pin.
And then
Pia. That I have remember. I remember so.
can we get one who is jumping and another what? LEAP,
Leap.
leap. And then we can,
GUMP.
yeah, and then, and the part of body that we can speak,
Mouth.
not yet the one.
Mouth.
I like believe.
Some part of the mouth, yes, I like believe.
Yes.
And then another one, when we want to see someone, and we want to hide from them. How can we do it? PEE,
Hide.
peep, pep,
Peep. Peep.
like that.
Yes.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Miss Lisa.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay. So was that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Yes, it is teacher center.
Okay.
We did in the first part we use teacher center. We the teacher tell what's, and then in the later,
Yeah.
and we ask the student. I asked the student to
So it is
say
student
other
center.
words. It will be student center.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Good. Okay, group. Can the other group go now? So can you do your 2 role plays? So one teacher-centered and one student-centered. So who's going to be the teacher in the other group? Oh, there we go. Oh,
Yeah. Can I start teacher on? But unfortunately, I can start my video. How should I do?
just try and maybe try a little bit through your voice. Just
Yeah,
see if you can try, and then we can see if we can kind of tell.
Yes, teacher. Today I'm going to teach you about the spoke kind of spokes are. It is firstly I would like to say thrill seeker. Thrill seeker is someone who want excitement and enjoying the feeling of dangers. So, what are extreme spokes?
What are extremes?
Yeah, what are extreme spokes? How do you think?
So who is the
Maybe
student?
extreme spokes may be dangerous one or adventurous. For example, skydiving.
Maybe
Another.
ski.
How about bungee jumping?
And the student, who's the student?
I think there's no student.
Oh, okay. Okay. What was the question?
Yes, I just asked about extreme spokes.
So I can answer. I can be the student. Extreme sports are
Yeah.
sports that are kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Extreme sport is climbing mountain. Extreme sport.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, hiking. Hiking is also a kind of extreme sports. Yes, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So was that teacher-centered or student-centered?
Yes, I perform both of us. Firstly, I explain about the three seeker, and then I ask the extreme kinds of spokes, extreme spokes. The later one is performed as a student center.
Good, yeah. So the beginning where you were just talking, teacher center, when you're
Yes.
asking questions and getting the student more engaged. Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
teacher.
Good. Excellent. Okay, last activity, as we are almost out of time. I'm going to put a poll and I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to answer. So click either true or false. So decide if the statement is either true or a false statement. And there are 5 questions for you to fill in.
Students in the classroom can do what they like. Students in the classroom learners can do what they like. Fox, next. And the teachers in the classroom
Okay, 1 more minute. I think I'm missing one person's replies. So maybe we'll just wait 30 seconds and see if that person replies. Oh, so we have all 4 people, so I'm going to end it there. Okay, let's look at the results. In a student-centered classroom, learners can do what they like. So the majority said false, and it is false. Question number, so they can't do whatever they like. They might have more ability to adjust and work together, but you still have to have a lesson plan and kind of a structure to base it on, even if you adapt the lesson plan as you go. So number 2, in a teacher-centered classroom, the teacher must always be strict. Is that true or false? So the majority said true. It's actually false. So you could have a teacher-centered classroom where the teacher is not strict at all. They might be like, yeah, whatever. Maybe they stand at the front and they talk, but they're not strict. Maybe people are misbehaving and they don't care. Number 3, you can't be a strict teacher in a student-centered classroom because you should be the student's friend. So this is actually false. So you can be strict with rules in a student-centered classroom still. You can still have rules. Maybe you've decided the rules with the students, but if people break the rules, you can still have consequences for them breaking the rules. And you don't have to be their friend. You want to be nice to the students, obviously, but you're still you can still be professional. So you don't have to be their friend, and you can still have rules in place. If the teacher has to stand at the front of the room, this must be a teacher-centered class. So again, this is false. In a student-centered classroom, it's more likely that the teacher would be moving around and checking on the students, but they're still allowed to be at the front of the class just because it's an easy way to observe. So maybe some of the time they're at the front, and some of the time they're moving around. So you can't really tell based on that, although it is more likely they'd be moving around a little bit, but they can still be at the front. Okay, the most important thing in a student-centered classroom is that the students are having fun. So this is actually false. The most important thing is that they're learning. So it's more, you want your students to be learning. You're wanting, and making it fun will help them learn. But remember, it doesn't have to be all games and all fun. You also have to make sure that they're learning. That's the first goal, is that they're learning. And then one way of helping them with learning is by making it more fun and more, but you can have it so it's student-centered and they're very focused on their activity. Maybe they're doing an experiment and they're very focused on the activity. They might enjoy it, but maybe it's not like fun, as in it playing a game or something like that. So all of these answers are actually can be false. Okay, so how well do you understand student-centered learning? So not at all or extremely well. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Can everyone show me? Okay, I see some 5s. Okay, good, excellent. And a 3. Okay. So just a reminder, I will send out a form for feedback and an invitation to join the Google Classroom. All the slides will be posted on the Google Classroom, so if you would like to access them, you can see them on the Google Classroom. Next week's topic is educational ethics. So we're going to be looking at ethics around education. And if you want to look at the syllabus yourself, I have also added the syllabus to the Google Classroom. So every single week at 8:30 p.m., we will have a class on a different topic. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Teacher, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, teacher.
Bye.